Welcome to Main Talk, where beauty meets business and nothing is off limits. I'm your host, Laura Bell, stylist, salon owner, and beauty industry lifer. At Salon 21, we keep things fun, unfiltered, and real, just like this podcast. Whether you're here for expert hair advice, industry insights, or just some good behind-the-chair conversations, we want you to feel at home. Grab your coffee or your wine, and let's get into it. If you ever wondered what really goes on in hair school, or maybe you've been through it yourself, this one's for you. Whether you're a stylist who's been there or a client who's just curious about what it takes to get behind the chair, you're going to love this episode. Today, I'm joined by our junior stylist, Taya. She's graduated from hair school for about a year now. And while she's one of the newest to join the industry in our salon, she's already grown so much since those early days. We're going back to where it all begins, the good, the bad, and the downright hilarious parts of hairdressing school that every stylist remembers, and a few we'd probably rather forget. So grab your coffee, settle in, and get ready for some serious hair school confessions. All right, let's start from the beginning. Those first few weeks, remember how awkward it felt holding your scissors for the first time? Or when sectioning hair felt like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube with oven mitts on? No one tells you how nerve-wracking that first mannequin haircut is. You're sweating, trying to look confident, but the line's crooked and your mannequin is definitely giving you the side eye. Taya, what's your first oh no hair school moment? The one that still haunts you a little.
Oh my goodness. I remember when I was first getting into cutting hair, we were done on the mannequins and we were working on clients now, right? So I had this one gentleman come in and he requested me for a haircut because he loved what I did last time. And I couldn't remember who he was, or not who he was. I recognized his face, but I couldn't remember what haircut I did on him. So I did the consultation with him and I was like, how much are we taking off? What clipper guard do you use usually? And he said, usually just a number 4 all the way around. And I was like, perfect. Took that and I ran with it. So I start doing my cut. I'm cutting the sides. It's looking good. And I go up top with the same 4. I'm doing all one length, right? And I look at him and I'm like, oh no, this doesn't look right. This is not what he looked like last time. And literally as that thought went through my head, he was like, I don't think we went this short last time. And I was like, oh no, I just started panicking. And he said something like, oh, don't worry, it grows back by next week. Or he was super, super sweet about it. But I felt so bad because he requested me because he liked what I did. And then I had no idea and I messed it up. It made me feel so silly. But I took from that to always have a very thorough consultation and ask questions like, how much are we taking off the top? Do you even have a picture of what you liked from last time? It's
probably with him saying number 4 all the way around. You're like, oh, it's his whole head, where he's probably meaning all the way around to
the sides
here,
of
but
the
not
back.
Off the top.
Right,
so.
yeah.
And I feel like people coming to the hairdressing schools, they know that we're still learning.
Exactly,
so they kind of take that little risk with booking an appointment there. But we thank them for that because that's how we learn from it as well. Okay, mine was when we had to learn to shampoo for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
We did a little bit of shampooing in cosmetology class. Mm-hmm. So I felt a little bit confident, I had a little bit to go off of.
Yeah.
And then when you hold that hose, as soon as you turn that pressure on, it just goes. And I just remember it had slipped out of my hand and was all over the place. And it literally was like a Girls Gone Wild salon edition. I would say everything was soaked. The client was soaked. I was soaked. The stations were right across from the sink. So all the mirrors were soaked. And I just remember the teacher coming over and hitting the tap off. And I've learned that. And I say it to all the girls now.
That was the first thing I remember you told me.
Don't try and chase the hose because it's literally impossible.
Just
everywhere. Just shut it off.
Yeah.
So, and your reaction is to grab the hose and thankfully, we don't have many of that. It still happens, though. I've let go of the hose before, but it's just the quick thinking of, slamming that tap off works better. But
absolutely.
And then everyone usually has their eyes closed at the sink. So, okay, let's be honest. Every hair school has its wild side. The crazy color experiments, mannequin heads flying off the stands, some accidental mixing of the wrong developer, or that one person who leaves bleach on for way too long. Taya, what's one of the funniest or craziest things you saw or heard in hairdressing school? One of those you just can't make this up stories.
So actually, this one, we didn't even get the chance to work on the client. This one client came into the salon one day and knowing it's like a school and all that. And she wanted to do a full global bleach out and get rainbow all through her hair. And she's been like saving up to do it. And I heard her say that and I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, this will be the perfect project. And my teacher chimes in and she says, oh no, we can't accept that as a client. And we were like, why? And she's like, oh, we just don't have the time to work on that. And I was thinking, what? I was like, what kind of thing is that? Like, it's supposed to be a learning opportunity, like to teach us. How else are we supposed to learn in all this? And they just let her walk right out the door. Yeah. And I always thought about that. And I was like, that it was just so crazy.
Even if you
to
didn't
me.
have enough time, like I remember in hairdressing school,
Yeah.
this lady came in with literally her hair touched the floor.
Oh my
And when she walked in the door, I was like, she booked a color and all over color. Like, how are we going to be doing this?
Yeah.
So I just remember being like, literally, we close at 5 and it's like 1 o'clock. Like, yes, you might think 4 hours, but someone just learning, hair down to the ground, all over color, cut blow dry, that's not happening.
Yeah.
So I just remember my teacher putting like 2 other girls with me.
Yeah.
And we just went for it.
Yeah.
And I just remember color going everywhere. We got it on. Shampooed her, almost overflowed the sink because it clogged so bad.
Yeah.
And then the blow dryer, just all 3 of us just blow drying to get it done. So,
and that's what I was thinking. Like, we could have tag teamed it. We could have even done the bleach out one day, the color the next day to like accommodate her, but they just didn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah.
But the lessons, like, we could have learned foil placement, like saturation, cutting. Like, there were so many things to be learned from that client, and we were both upset. Me and the client.
That's not right. I don't like hearing that.
Crazy.
It definitely would have given you so much from it. So I think for another story that I want to touch base on is I think like people feel like hairdressing school is just a free for all and we have no idea what we're doing yet. But some of us are like natural, like we have natural talent. Like definitely you, when you did your co-op with us, like I just saw it from day one. I'm like, yes, she definitely has it.
Thank you.
But I just remember, too, that a lady booked her 3 daughters in for haircuts. And we just thought, like just coming in to get her daughter haircuts. So these 3 girls sat in 3 different stylist chairs. And I just remember the one girl coming over to get the teacher and being like, you need to come look at this. And then I'm like hearing this. So then as I start like brushing this girl's hair, you hear the word lice and then I'm just like,
oh no,
oh my God, lice. So then like I start like brushing the other daughter's hair looking and I'm like, oh my God, there's little white dots like all over the scalp.
My goodness.
So I'm just like, oh my God, I think these girls have lice. So we were like, especially then when the mom's like, yeah, I just want them to all have pixie cuts, but they had long, beautiful hair to their waist. And
so
it's like, she knew. And she just thought we being new wouldn't be able to identify that because any other salon, like, and she probably wouldn't go to her normal salon because she didn't want people to see that her kids had lice. So she brought them to a hairdressing school. And I just remember being like, oh my God, this isn't pest control, lady. Like, you need to take your kids home, do the treatment, get it gone. And then like, if you need to cut their hair, that's fine. But that's like the first like lesson that always check like before you drape. And that's so important with the consultation, like bringing them to your chair, like, we could start playing with their hair and everything, but you can just make sure like you don't see anything on their scalp, like anything that could come back after, like if they did have a sore on the scalp and then you applied color, then they're coming after us that we've created like sores on their scalp. So I always mention stuff to people, like making sure they know it's there, like, oh, you have like a little cut here, like maybe it was itchy and you scratched, but just want to let you know that when I put the color on you might feel a little bit of a burn, things like that. So I think that's a really good like lesson, is doing your consultation really well.
Absolutely.
But yeah, now that we're all scratching and itching from
I know.
that word lice,
I was trying so hard not to scratch the whole time.
We'll move on to our next segment. All right. It's not all chaos, though. There's a lot you actually carry with you from hairdressing school. How you talk to your clients, manage your time, work under pressure, and how to laugh when things don't go as planned. So, Taya, what's the biggest lesson that stuck with you from those days and that you still use now at Salon 21?
I would actually say the biggest lesson I've ever learned was not to get offended when someone is checking work. Like when you check my work here, when my instructors were checking my work at school, I always took it as learning something. And like it's so much better to just be shown how to fix it and then take it from that and go from there with your work, because it makes you such a better stylist when you take things to heart. I think
it's constructive criticism. And I tell every girl that here that I'll pull them aside and be like, listen, like, don't take this the wrong way. You're doing amazing, but you could have worked on this, this, and this. And instead of being so defensive and being like, well, I did that, but this, like, just take what we're telling you, learn from it. And that's what's gonna further you. Like I tell everyone here too that I'm like, as soon as you feel like you don't want to learn anymore, like that's when I feel like you're done with being a hairdresser. Like,
absolutely.
I feel like things are constantly changing. There's constantly new courses. There's new things to learn and practice. And if you don't want to do it, then that's trends. When I'm like, that's when I'm like, that's when you know you're like done. Being,
like you guys, like even you and Natasha are still learning every day, and you've been in it for over 10 years, right? Like everybody's learning every day as a hairstylist.
Something I always tell new stylists or anyone who's learning, and this came from one of my own mentors, is that it doesn't matter how long a service takes as long as the client leaves happy. And that's another thing, is it could take you 2 hours to do a haircut on someone, but as long as you've listened to what they wanted, you did the consultation, and they're happy with their haircut, they're probably going to come back. Where if you didn't listen to what they want, like screwed something up, they're not coming back in that door. So that's something I learned early on, and I stand by today, that it's not about being the fastest stylist in the room. It's about being the one who cares enough to get it right. And the one who isn't afraid to fix something if a client isn't 100% happy with their hair. It's not that we did something wrong. It's that we care to make it right. So that's the professionalism in this industry as well, that's pride in your work. And honestly, that's what builds trust. When a client sees you're committed to them, and it's not just the clock. So you might have done the haircut and they're like, you know what? I actually want to go shorter with the layers, instead of being like, oh, well, like, that's it.
Yeah, because sometimes they don't even know. They will ask for one thing, see it, and then they realize maybe this is not for me, right?
Exactly. Or like, oh, I want my bangs shorter, or whatever. And that's fine. As long as you're listening to what they want, letting them see it. I think that's what makes a great stylist too, and not being afraid to fix it. Like I had a issue last week there. I did some foiling and there's a little bit of bleeding in the top. And I'm like, yes, this is going to take me a little bit extra time than what I put in for, and it might make me late, but I'm not letting this client leave without fixing it, because I'm not happy with the work and I can see it. So she's definitely going to see it. I'm not going to try and part her hair on another side and hope for the best. I went and I dried the top. I popped a foil in, let it process, and it turned out fine. And I think it's just taking that extra step and making sure the client is happy when leaving.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay, real talk. Let's get into what they don't teach you in hairdressing school, like how to juggle back-to-back clients while remembering to eat something that isn't just a granola bar, or how to deal with 5 DMs at once asking for any last-minute appointments, or when a color correction walks in 15 minutes before closing. They teach technique, but they don't always teach salon life reality. So Taya, what's something that totally surprised you once you actually got behind the chair for real?
I was gonna say more about like the actual hair. Like, honest, they can teach you all the steps, say, to do a blow dry at school, sectioning and tension and all that.
The mannequin head.
But it's a mannequin head. Yeah, exactly. And then blow drying a short bob is much different than blow drying your hair. Right? Like curly, long, and thicker, much thicker. It'll take more time. It's a lot more physical work. And just until you get different clients and start practicing on different people.
Different lengths, different curly hair, like straight hair. And the mannequin hair is literally, it's one type. And I always tell the girls, like, you can never get a part right on a mannequin head because it's just, there's nothing like working on real hair.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. Same goes for cuts. Like cutting curly hair is different than cutting straight hair, all that.
Yeah. So one thing though is mannequins don't talk, so that's a plus.
Yes.
Because I would have to say that they really don't prepare you for how drained sometimes you feel at the end of the day. Like, I love what I do. Don't get me wrong. I love coming to work. I love being here. And I don't feel like many people can say that. So I love showing up. Like I want to be here. But one thing is, yeah, how drained you can feel at the end of the day. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. Just you give so much energy and you're there for so many people throughout the day that I always laugh because when I'm done work, I'll get in my car and literally I will sit there in complete silence with no music on, no podcast playing, nothing. Just me and my thoughts and maybe a snack if I didn't eat that granola bar today at all. It's the stylist reset moment for me, where you finally stop talking, stop moving, and you just breathe for that, my half an hour drive home, just to like recollect myself, deal with my husband when I get home and my toddler. And then it gets to another whole loud and craziness. But yeah, that's for me is just how draining. And you are therapist, they say, right? You're like someone's therapist. So if we have 20 clients in a day, you're listening to 20 different stories. You're consulting with these people. And too, like our memory, like trying to remember what someone told you last time. So you can be like, oh yeah, like how was that dinner you went to?
Exactly. Or the wedding.
Wedding. How was the work interview? Like our brains are constantly like trying to remember everything.
There's so many people.
Going back to the guy that sat in your chair, how he was like, oh, I liked what you did last time. We have so much to remember. So not just your hair, about everyone's personal life too. But that's how you build a connection
for
with,
sure.
Like, our clients, and that's how they keep coming back and asking for you. And
absolutely.
Even another thing I'll touch base on is we always say here, as long as you guys are coming in the door, we want you to be happy. Like I've had people that was originally one of my clients, but they've moved over to Natasha, or maybe they were one of Maddie's clients and now they're with you. And I always say, as long as you as a client are happy and you're coming through that door and supporting us, that's what we love. So it doesn't matter who you get. Like, if you want to try a color with Natasha because she's great with like the fashion shades, then go ahead. Or, you want to try like you out for your blow dries. Like anyone wants a blow dry, I'm putting them under Taya, just so you know. She gives amazing blowouts. So and
we all work together really anyways.
We do. We do work really well together here as a team. So you can't talk about hair school without the funny stories as well. The stuff that makes you cringe and laugh at the same time. Maybe it's a mannequin that fell off mid-cut, or maybe you thought you nailed a blowout and it looked like a cotton ball after. So what would you say one of your funniest or most embarrassing moment is that you can laugh about now?
I was actually struggling thinking of something for myself that I did. But I remember one day I was getting my hair cut by one of my friends and one of my really good friends from school. And there was a few other girls there and we were all chatting and whatever. And she was cutting my hair. And she started doing the facial framing. She was using a razor. So it was more like soft blended kind of thing. And she goes to section out my hair and she has the comb and the razor in one hand and she combs my hair and she takes a chunk out of my hair with the razor and it was like 3 inches from my root. So I didn't even notice. I was like on my phone or something and they were just talking in the background, but then they all stopped talking. So I looked up and she was just like, oh my God, Taya. And I was like, what? And she was like, oh my God, I'm going to cry. And I was like, why?
You're going to cry?
What did you do? And I start looking, I don't really see anything, right? And she just holds up the piece of hair. And it's like, it wasn't horrible. It was like the thickness of like, say 2 eye tips.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God. And then I could tell like she was literally about to cry though. And I was like, okay, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Cause I imagined myself doing that. And I was like, I would have felt the exact same way. Like we're still all learning. You can't really tell at all. So it was no big deal. I told her not to worry about it. But
to be honest, it's happened to me with scissors. When we go to do like our layers, you're keeping all these tools in your hand. So you have your scissors and your comb and you're trying to hold their hair to like section and with the layers you're combing like up. And I just remember I didn't take my scissors and like hold them in my hand when I'm doing that. I just had them up and open. So as I'm combing and I literally cut someone's hair. It's a nice little slide cut in action, but definitely wasn't supposed to happen.
I feel like it was better because it was the razor too, because it made it much more blended in my hair and more like a short layer or something. Where if it was scissors, it would have been much more blunt
Yeah.
and you would have seen. But yeah.
I feel like I have lots for this one.
Yeah.
But another one for me is I was shampooing a client's hair at the sink in hairdressing school. And I remember I just had lunch. So I went and popped gum in my mouth. And then as I'm at the shampoo sink, like shampooing, we're chatting away. And I just remember my gum fell out and into her hair. And I was like,
no.
Oh my God. So then I just like shut the water off and I'm like trying to like go through the hair to find my gum. And I found it, but thank God because the hair was wet, I guess it kind of just slid off and it didn't stick.
Yeah.
And then her eyes were closed, thank God. So everyone keep your eyes shut at the sink. It's weird when they're open. But no, thank God. That her eyes were closed and I was able to pick it up and just like carry on and pretend nothing happened.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh my God.
That actually reminded me of one of mine too in school. I was shampooing and one of my nails popped off. Excuse me. One of my nails popped off in the sink.
Yeah.
So when I like turned the water off, I had to go through and I picked it out. Just like
I feel like that's something that might have happened to me before too.
Yeah.
Because with the long hair and you're due to get your nails done,
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
gets caught under there.
So bad.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I remember too that in hairdressing school, I had this dark hair and we had just cut it into like a Victoria Beckham type bob and I loved it. But then I want to be blonde. So I got one of the girls to do like some cap highlights and she pulled like all my hair through.
Oh no.
Not just like a few to give me like some highlights to start me to get blonde. She pulled them all through.
Oh my goodness.
So then I literally had like black roots with like blonde ends. So then we had to bleach it to try and get it somewhat. And I remember it was just like this yellow and going home that night and my parents were like, oh my God, why did you do that? What did you do? And I was like, I didn't do anything. Like, so then again, it's just like you work on each other and learn and everything. So
absolutely. I'm honestly surprised I didn't do more with my hair in school. Like,
yeah, I didn't do a ton either. And I remember like starting hairdressing school in the class like above us almost came in and were like, oh, you guys all got like virgin hair, which is true. All of us barely did anything to her hair. And they're like, oh, I'm going to take you, like picking who's going to be their next victim. And I'm like, no, like you're not touching my hair. And then within a couple months, we of course all started like, some pink peekaboos and layers and this. And by the end of it, I had a shriveled off blonde bob to here. It was horrible.
How long was it when you started?
It was like probably long? Like
oh my goodness
belly button area, and that's probably why I'm down to my waist now because traumatized by all these short things. To go along with the lice story, I had it when I was a kid. I think majority of the kids get it in school, but I got it. And then I got it again. And my mom was so fed up after the second time, she cut my hair off. Yeah. And it was so short up and around the ears. And I just remember being like, oh my God, I look like a boy. And I say I've been growing my hair ever since for that one too.
Oh my goodness.
I get it. I understand because when you have a thick hair, it's a lot to have to sit there and deal with it. So I know who I'm calling if my daughter ever gets it. Mom. Come help me.
Oh my goodness.
So before we wrap things up, let's end with a little advice for anyone thinking about getting into this industry. We've shared the laughs and the chaos, but there's much heart behind it as well. Since you've been out of hairdressing school for about a year now, Taya, what is one thing you tell someone who's just starting out, something you wish that you've known yourself back then?
I would tell them to always be confident and just put yourself right in there. Do everything like as much as you can in school. And I think it'll work out great for you. Like, honestly, the way you learn is just by doing it, like over and over again, repeating like the same steps, same clients, same everything.
And yes, you might not like something, but it's just continue to do it because there's so many different things and services in this industry. I remember when I was in hairdressing school, it was hair and aesthetic. So they made us learn pedicures, manicures. And I remember girls refusing. They would not do the pedicures. They're like, nope, not doing that. Take me out of there. And they're like, I hate feet. And I'm like, just do it.
Just do it.
You don't even know. It's easy and just try it, right? You can decide later if you don't like it. But Definitely, I would agree with that. Just do everything. And then once you get more confident behind the chair, you can then pick what
Mhm.
you become better at. I
Yeah.
would like to say, like, here, all of our stylists are pretty capable with doing everything.
Mhm.
I personally don't really understand the stylists who are just like
I'll
haircut
only do
stylist, or I'll
this.
only do
Yeah.
colors, and then you can
Yeah.
go see my other person for the cut. Because I'm just like, you're with that client from start to finish. Like, what do
Yeah.
you mean you're just gonna give them away to someone else? But
Mhm.
I mean, it might work for them, but here, yeah, we definitely do. I would say a little bit of everything. Um, for me, I would have to say, I think the biggest thing is growth in this career. It doesn't
Mhm.
happen overnight. You won't wake up one day suddenly confident, booked solid. It happens little by little, one client at a time,
For
one
sure.
conversation at a time. And of course, those aha moments where you finally figure it out.
Mhm.
And it's okay to have off days. Like, the important part is to keep showing up, keep learning. And remember why you started in the first place, because you love making people feel their best.
Mhm.
So that would be like my yeah, my little advice for anyone starting. Just, yeah,
And
keep
as you
going.
work along too, you find more ways to like that things are easier for you, or you can be like quicker at them or more efficient.
Just different techniques. Like, yeah, you just, yeah,
Mhm.
don't give up. Just give it time. And another advice that I got from my hairdressing school teacher, she literally came in and looked around the room and was like, just to let you guys know, like, look around. Half of you guys won't be hairdressers.
Mhm.
Like, half of you are here, but you're not going to continue with that.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, like, what do you mean? Like, we're here, we're spending this money. What do you mean I'm not going to be a hairdresser at the end? But everyone's life changes,
Mhm.
and that's okay too. But I always tell everyone, at least get your license.
Yeah.
Like, do your apprenticeship, learn, get your license, because that's always something you can fall back on. And I
Absolutely.
remember her telling me that, like, you might not do this, but then maybe you'll have kids one day and you want to fall back and, take a couple clients at home while you're
Mhm.
raising your kids, or the amount of money you're going to save just by cutting like your husband's hair or your kid's hair
Yeah,
or family's hair, right? So that was something that stuck with me too from back in hairdressing school.
for
So
sure.
this has been such a fun trip down memory lane for me. A reminder that we all start somewhere. Huge thanks to Taya for joining us
Thank you.
and for sharing some laughs. If you're in hair school right now, keep going. The days are long, the mannequins are creepy, and the lessons are definitely priceless.
Mhm.
To all of our clients listening, next time you're in the chair, just remember your stylist journey started with a mannequin, a dream, and maybe a few unexpected and itchy bug experiences along the way. And to make sure you stay tuned for our next episode coming in January, because we're doing a full Salon 21 year in review. I'm talking the highs, the lows, the funniest moments, and the did that really happen stories, and everything 2025 threw at us behind the chair. It's honest, it's hilarious, and it's the perfect way to start a brand new year together. You won't want to miss this one. Until next time, keep loving your hair and your stylist, your salon, and the people that make your good hair days happen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for hanging out on Main Talk. If today's episode gave you something to think about or just made you smile, go ahead and subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your beauty crew. Follow me on social at Salon21 Hair and Aesthetics for more behind the chair moments, salon tips, and podcast updates. Until next time, keep it fun, keep it real, and keep creating beauty your way.